Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Soul Work. We are live here at Shaw TV, and I'm your host, Jeni Cousins. And we are taking calls tonight, Calgary, so make sure that you give us a call. And that number to write down is 403-539-6710. And whenever you give us a call and you're calling in, just make sure you leave your TV on. Normally I ask everybody to mute it, but we're having a little technical issue due to Mercury retrograde, as I call it. So we're just going to surrender it all and talk with my very, very, very interesting guest tonight, who is Prashant Michael John. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Jeni, for having me here.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. You had to come on the show, of course. Your energy is very different, very nice, very unique. So of course I had to have
I'm
you.
very happy to be here.
Yeah, yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
So when did you first come to Canada? And how was it when you moved here?
Okay, so I came when I was 19 years old with my parents and my sister. We had just 2 years since the Bangladesh war, the revolution, where we were, and then we flew, we took the ship along the coast of India to Pakistan, and we lived there for about 2 years and then came as refugees to Canada. And that, I remember landing in Montreal airport, December, 28th of December, 1972. And it was winter. I'd never seen snow in my life. So it was just mind-blowing, actually, to walk into the cold, to be able to feel cool after this, the heat in Karachi, Pakistan. Wow. So yeah, that was my, it was enchanted. It was like being in a different planet.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. I loved it. I used to walk in the snow a lot.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it very much.
Because it's very humid in Montreal, so it can get a little colder.
Of course, after a few years of being here, now I like to stay warm indoors, but yeah, definitely.
Wow.
And then, yeah.
So what got you involved with your music? What drew you into your music? Because Prashant's a musician, a really, really, really good musician, I might say.
Growing up, when I was just like 5 years old, I got a harmonica for my birthday, and I started playing tunes on it. And when we'd drive home from school with my dad, I'd show him which song I learned, and he'd play the accordion. So I'd always sit down and listen to him. So I learned old tunes. And then when I was 9 or 10, I don't remember how it happened, but I started playing the guitar somehow. It was there for my brother, and I think I picked it up. I only remember actually playing a tune. I don't remember the learning process for some strange reason. And from then on, it was guitar all the way. And the 60s music, all that stuff, and the 50s music, and the folk music of India that was going on all around me. I grew up in Bangladesh. And then in the 80s, I started getting a bit, I was not really enjoying what was on the radio. Not that I listened to the radio all the time, but what was current. And I couldn't find so much music that I liked, so I started looking around the world, and world music, ethnic music of different countries. I started getting into chanting, mantras, and meditation. So through meditation, I started seeking out the Zen music, the music of the shakuhachi, the Japanese flute. I happened to meet someone who made them in Montreal, and I started, dabbling in it, and started tuning my guitar to drones. And chanting, singing, improvising to it, and that's how I kind of like got into the chant music of India, which is called kirtan.
Yes.
And I'm sure now you've probably heard that, and many people have heard the mantra music.
Yeah.
My latest CD, and it's almost finished, is putting these mantras to dance music. The challenge was to make it not like a DJ. I think there's a lot of it's been done, trying to make it very musical. So I played all the instruments except for the beats, but I processed some beats and I added live percussion to it too. So it still sounds like, and I picked loops that were more acoustic sounding, but yet with the electronic production, you know. So that's my new project. It's not manufactured yet, but it's all pretty much done.
Though.
And the other latest recording is by a Buddhist monk. He lives here. He's very authentic and very great, a chant master. So I met him and I decided that he needs, you know, to have a CD that he can sell at his, when he does these sand mandalas.
Yeah.
The traditional Buddhist sand mandalas. He goes around North America especially doing that. So I thought he'd have a CD. So I played all the music on it.
Yeah.
And that one's it's mastered,
Yeah.
but it's not manufactured yet.
Yeah.
It's going to be very soon.
Oh, it'll be really nice.
Yeah.
It'll be really nice. And I wanted to bring up these CDs in the meantime of yours because they're really different. I love the energy to it as I was pointing out the different faces.
Yeah, there's two different,
Yeah.
completely different sets of musicians. This one is 3 other people and me from Vancouver.
Yeah.
One is a Chinese classical erhu player, which is a Chinese violin. One's the guy who, you know, a classically trained percussionist who plays marimba mostly, and on the CD. And the other guy is a tabla, a guy who learned the tabla.
Yeah.
This guy here. And so it's all my compositions.
Yeah.
But it got a bit too classical, and it got a bit, I had an idea of doing a more ethnic feel to it, but I really enjoyed where it went, because you know, different musicians bring in their, and this one is just 3 of us, 2 guys from India. One, the percussionist is the son of the Karnataka College of Percussion, very famous in Europe as pioneers of East-West jazz. Very famous in Europe especially, and their son, who's really amazing, virtuosic, and a guy who plays the slide guitar, Indian style. Like some of you may have heard of Vishwa Mohan Bhatt, who got the Grammy with Rai Cooder. Well, his contemporary, the same style of guitar.
Yeah.
And so that's a little bit different. I've got some of my composition singing in English on that one, but this one not. It's mostly singing Bengali and so yeah. So
I love it.
it's quite diverse.
It is actually, and I love the energy of it. Even the CDs alone, even looking inside at the photos, they could be paintings of this.
This painting here was done specially for, I was looking for something for the album cover and found something online by this artist. And when I was in India, I went to his place.
Yeah.
A beautiful place, artist. And so I asked him, can I have this picture for my CD cover? And he said, it's gone, it's sold.
Yeah.
So, but I'll do one for you. So he did this one for the cover. And I could only, you know, he gave me the photograph. I couldn't afford the painting, obviously. But yeah, so that was especially done for that. It's supposed to be Krishna playing his flute. But Krishna's got a top knot that looks a lot like Shiva, but whatever,
yes.
they're pretty interchangeable, I guess.
I like it. And I drew that, or I was drawn to that one right away. And I can hardly wait till your new CD comes out. I want to get one.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Because I love the energy of it already.
Yeah, you
Yes.
definitely have one. Yeah.
So now, when you were in India, you were there when the tsunami.
Oh, the tsunami.
Yes.
The tsunami, yeah.
Yeah.
I was there in 2005 December, I believe it was, or was it 2004 December? Anyway, I was at the ashram of my spiritual teacher. She's known as the hugging saint for some reason. That's a very superficial explanation of her, but whatever. It works. So I was at her ashram spending some time there, and I was in the little group, 4 of us, of the renunciates, the guys who lived there full time as part of the ashram, and they were playing music. We were playing music, chants and devotional music of South India for her, while she was people were coming and going, getting her darshan. The darshan is the view of the master, of the teacher, coming and saying, you know, getting their blessing. And while I was doing that, we were playing this other guy. He comes running from the office or something, and he jumps up on the stage where the mother was, and none of us knew what was going on. The electricity was turned off, so the mic stopped, and she got up. She got up out of her chair and came to the front of where she was standing and told everyone to come forward. And we didn't have a clue of what was going on. And this was really unusual for her to get up off her seat. She doesn't do that. She'll keep going. And we didn't know what was going on. She said, everyone come to the front. And I went closer to her. We were right in front, and I looked at the building, and I thought, oh my God, something's going to happen. This building is going to collapse or something. Because why would she do that? We could see the tension.
Yeah.
And then we all went towards the front of the temple, and there were stairs going down. And oh my God, there was water right up to the stairs and rising. And she did something strange. I don't know if this is just an aside. I don't know if it means anything to anyone, but she took off her sari and she threw it at the water.
Oh, okay.
And then, well, I don't want to make claims, but it kind of stopped.
Yeah, yeah.
And she just took off her whole sari and was in her underwear, which is very unusual in India.
Yeah.
And I, meanwhile, was standing at the side, and these big, huge rats and everything that had to come out finally out of the basement, so wherever they were hiding in the forest, and all wet. And it was a strange sight because this was a peninsula.
Yeah.
And so it being a peninsula, you know what I mean? It's a long strip of land. There's water here, and then there's the mainland here. So this whole thing was covered in water.
Really?
So it felt like being in the ocean, except the buildings. We were there, so and then so there was a rope tied, and we went. We grabbed the rope and went to the ferry because we couldn't see the land or the difference between the land and the water. And then went to the mainland and stayed with the villagers, and it was quite a thing.
Amazing.
There was a lot of other things happened, the mass burials and the cremations.
I bet.
It was quite a
Yeah, we're gonna just take a short commercial break, and then we're gonna continue on with your story and that, and also we're gonna open up the phone lines for callers as well. So Calgary, you want to give us a call. That number is 403-539-6710. We'll be right back after this short commercial break.